And as if by magic, we're back at it again with them white vans. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th video in the Bipolar series of Mental Health Awareness Week 2019 on my channel, Overcoming Frankie. I'm Frankie, and yeah, let's get on with the video. This is how not to support someone with bipolar. And let's not make a mistake. I'm not going to be like, don't do this, don't do this. This is more about, I'm going to tell you a personal story about what happened. I'm in my second year of university. I'm going to tell you what happened in our first year of university. And I really hope that's okay with my housemates, because I only decided I was going to do it now, so I've not told them. Maybe this video might get pulled. I might ask them to watch it back and see if it's appropriate. If not, I'll make another video. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because if I make another video, you won't see this. So this is more about safeguarding yourself. If you have someone you love or care about who has bipolar and you're trying to support them. I did say at the beginning of the first video about this that you need to make sure that your own mental health is okay, and that you are, you know, caring for your own mental health and emotional well-being, because you can't run in there if you're a crumpling mess and expect to rescue someone who's in a psychotic episode. It just won't work. I guess to an extent this sort of works for a lot of different mental illnesses where people end up endangering themselves. So I will tell you what happened. We were a few weeks into term 1. I'd not had a major mood episode in over a year, since I'd come out of hospital in 2016. I'd had like a dysthymic episode, I suppose, which is basically SAD and also reactive to one of my friends' deaths. And that was about it over winter. That was about it. Didn't require hospital, didn't require crisis, didn't require any extra medication. Like, it resolved itself. So I didn't have any major mood episodes. So for all intents and purposes, I was in remission. And then I started doing things. I came away to university. I've been away before. If you watch my video about psychosis, I talk about my my mental health when I was on my foundation course. And so I've not, this isn't the first time that I've like moved out and lived alone. But I was in university, I was doing things, I was busy, I was living, and I had spent that year after I came out of hospital, I'd spent it basically resting and like rehabbing and getting ready to come away to university safely. And November, may have been late October, or it may have been November, and I think I did upload a video, and I'm not happy with that video because I filmed it when I was like hypomanic and psychotic, and published it when I was still not recovered, but I did post it. I'll put it up here. And basically it happened really quickly. I remember feeling different, and I said to my housemates, I feel like my mood is shifting, and they were like, oh, what do you mean, like you're having a good day? And I was like, no, like bipolar, I feel like my mood is shifting. And then either that night or the night after, I stopped sleeping, and I was like pestering my flatmates all the time, like, hey, I'm awake, can you come and like play with me? Like literally just had like raw energy, and I was like, let's throw a ball, let's throw something else, blah 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 blah. And I think Jack spent probably about 2 hours, like from like midnight, playing catch and like trying to talk me down and try and get me to go to bed. Bless him, he'd only known me for a month at that time. And Ruby took over and we played catch for a bit, and then I think Bobby came out and she was like, hey, I'm trying to sleep, can you go to bed? It's like 3 in the morning. And I just didn't sleep. And then a couple more days of not sleeping and being very hyperactive hyperactive. And I don't know if you can see on the other vlogs on the days leading up to that. But like I say, it happened really quickly. But I go wandering when I'm manic, like, because I have so much energy, and also I get really irritable, and people piss me off really quickly. So I just leave. I'm like, and I go. And when I lived in Nottingham, that was fine because we live in like a suburban residential area, and I can just go off and wander off by myself. Whereas when you live in Birmingham city centre with lots of gang culture and lots of drug dealers out and about, and people unsafe driving and things, it's not safe to just go wandering by yourself when you are not in your right mind at 11 o'clock at night. And I believe there had been an argument in the flat because I was hallucinating, and I was also not calming down, and I was scared. And I think there was a bit of an argument because I wouldn't go to bed. There was an argument about something, and I walked out. I was like, no, I need to go on a walk. Like, they were like, can you just take your meds and go to bed? I was like, no, I need to go on a walk with Molly, who is one of my hallucinations, my regular hallucinations. And they were like, who the fuck is Molly? Because I had not been explaining that I was hallucinating because it had happened so quickly. I was lost in my own little world. And basically Ruby, me and Ruby both have POTS, and she ended up following me whilst I walked across town to a different university campus, as in like it was a different university, not ours, to a different campus. And and then I shouted at her as she was following me. I was like, leave me alone, just leave me alone. And like I said a lot of really mean things and really rude things at her, like, you're gonna make yourself faint. And she was like, you're gonna make yourself faint. Because I don't necessarily feel my POTS symptoms when I'm manic, because my body's doing its thing anyway. So anyway, I spent a very long time, I don't know how long I spent, a very long time walking round and round and round on like this, they have like a water feature that was turned off at the time, but I was walking round and round and round, and I sort of remember this, you know, you get really drunk and you don't remember something and then someone tells you and you remember it secondhand. I remember this secondhand. I was walking round and round and I was telling Molly stories. I was telling her like kids' bedtime stories because she didn't want to sleep and she was really anxious, and she was like 7. Her age changes. Yeah, and the reason that I secondhand remember this is because Ruby asked me about it when I came back after my break. I sent her a text saying, Molly doesn't like you, can you go away? And she was like, who's Molly? And I said, Molly doesn't like you, can you go away? And she was like, Frankie, who is Molly? Like, is she coming to meet you? Is she a friend? I was like, she's already here, duh. And it always makes me think of they're here. But like that was one situation in which I was in danger and then they put themselves in danger for me. Ruby put herself in danger, she put herself at risk of attack, she put herself at risk of fainting with POTS. Yeah, she put herself at risk to make sure that I was safe, which is not how it works. If someone's in a sinking ship and you jump onto the sinking ship, you're both gonna sink. But yeah, there were a lot of situations like that where I was just really heavily reliant on them and dependent on them for the things that my mental health team should have been doing. So there were several occasions where I had self-harmed and one of them would have to accompany me to hospital. And it just got too much for them. And we had a really, really unhealthy living situation where Bobby didn't want to live with me for the following year. And yeah, Ruby didn't want to live with me either, and everything just went to shit. So the reason I'm telling you this is not to humiliate myself or to shame my housemates, but it's just to say that you really need to be looking after yourself primarily. Please do not sacrifice yourself. Don't become a martyr. If someone's walked off by themselves and they you know that they are mentally unwell and they seem to be in a manic episode, you need to call the police. You can't just follow them out, especially if it's 1 in the morning and it's across a busy town centre. You need to call the police. If someone has self-harmed and then wandered off, you need to call an ambulance, but they'll probably call the police. And I have been taken to hospital in a police car before because I had self-harmed and wandered off by myself, caught a load of buses, didn't know where I was going, got lost, passed out, and then like was messaging my friends, my housemates, like, hey, this has happened, I don't know what to do. And just lots of really bad situations. But please don't get too involved. I've just seen the time I need to go and actually meet Jack and Bobby. We're going to go to the theatre. But yeah, don't go in too deep, too fast. Only take on the responsibility of what you can. Ways not to support someone. Don't belittle them. If they're in a mood episode, don't belittle them because they have bipolar. Please try not to treat them differently, just because you know they have a certain diagnosis. Don't try and be Superwoman. I love the expression, what is it? You're the search party, not the lifeboat. It's not your job to rescue them. Don't out them either. You know, unless they've said to you specifically, like, we can talk about this in front of other people, don't just suddenly bring it up in conversation that they have bipolar, because they might not want everyone to know. I don't really know what other things would go in how not to support someone with bipolar. Don't allow them to build up a dependency on you. And don't try, I've said this like 1,000 times, but like codependency is bad, it is toxic. Don't try and rescue them if you have shit going on. You know, like, you can be their friend and everything, but you don't have to be there, you don't have to be like the number one point of contact. But that is all for the How to Help and How Not to Help series. The next video and the final video maybe? No, the next video is going to be a Q&A. The last video is going to be my story. And the Q&A is actually directed at me, not just at people with bipolar. But I'll video that one now, and then the My Story Bipolar might be on a different day. It might not actually be with this playlist because there's some more factual stuff. But thank you for coming, watching. If you have any questions or if there's anything that you would like to add to the discussion, comment down below. Please give me a like and drop a comment, even if it's something crappy like, hello, this is a comment, just because it helps with algorithms and it helps this video get bumped up. I do not have any money from YouTube. I don't have ads on my videos. I don't have monetization. So please, the only way that people are going to see this is if you share it and if you hit like and you type a comment. You're not pledging your allegiance to me. I'm not asking you to subscribe. I'm just asking you to share the video, because this is all about awareness, or possibly even share the playlist, because that's going to be the most helpful to people. But thank you all for coming. I hope you've learned something new. I hope this video has been useful, and I will see you in the Q&A.